year was a small thing. This year there's 15 teams competing, and we're Healing Dragons from Charlotte, North Carolina, and we're a cancer survivor team. And what else do you need to know?
Well, how many members to a team?
20 people on a team. You get 10 people paddling per side, and a drummer. We have a drummer here, and a steers person in the back. So 22 total.
That's fantastic. So you come all the way from Charlotte.
That's right.
Yeah.
So we're excited to be here this year. It's really nice. We came for the barbecue and the chili. That's why we're here.
Thrilled to have you. Welcome to Washington.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good luck.
It's an event that's fun for the whole family and also fun to participate in. The fire truck pull is a fundraiser for the Beaufort County Development Center. A crowd favorite, the fire truck pull pits one group of firefighters against another in a challenge to see who can pull the fire engine the farthest in a set amount of time. The pancake breakfast is a fundraiser for our Civitan group, and the duck race is a fundraiser for our Pamlico Pals. This past year, we added the Kids Zone, and it proved to be a very popular area.
My name's Lisa Woolard, and I'm the director of the Beaufort High Partnership for Children when I'm not a Rotarian. And of course, it's just natural that the Kids Zone would be something that I would be helping to coordinate. We have a little bit of something for everyone. There's a storybook theater over there. Patch Clark and her kids from ECU are putting on a great show, a fun time for the kids to be able to enjoy, and it's interactive as well.
Games, prizes, bounce houses, a train ride, storybook theater, and an art contest contributed to lots of giggling and happy children. And best of all, it was free to the kids. The art contest was held to help promote the Beaufort County Arts Council's annual Fine Arts Show, which happens at the same time as our festival. We also have a classic car show, and it has been a part of Smoke on the Water from the very start. Our patrons love to stroll along our beautiful waterfront and check out these automobiles. And what would a festival be without great music? We have a variety of musical styles reflected throughout the day. Young and old alike enjoy a little foot stomping. Although our actual job with the festival starts months earlier with obtaining sponsors to help support the event and meeting with the city to make sure things like street closings and everything are taken care of, early Friday morning we meet out in the parking lot and rope off the area for the incoming participants and vendors. Cookers start arriving and begin their setup in spaces that we have pre-measured and marked the day before. Some contestants go the extra mile and decorate their cooking site in the barbecue contest to participate in a showmanship competition. The winner gets a trophy, cash prize, and bragging rights.
Tell us your name, sir.
Joe Peterson.
Joe Peterson. Well, I've already heard that name a few times today in all the other interviews I've done. In fact, I think Charlie Meeks mentioned it to me when I was talking with him.
Yeah, Charlie won the charcoal last year, and I won the gas cooking contest last year.
Now you going for gas again?
Yeah, I'm going for gas again.
Then following the showmanship judging, the pigs are distributed to the sites where they are cleaned, trimmed, and prepared for cooking.
We're proud to be part of it. Smithfield did a good job getting these hogs together. They're beautiful pigs. We were proud to be a processor of these pigs. It's a good event. It's the biggest one that we've participated in. Over 30 pigs this year and over 30 participants. Wonderful evening to cook a pig. Beautiful time, beautiful people. Great time to do it.
Prior to being placed on the grill, festival authorities visit each site to inspect the condition of their meat prior to the cooking. Festivities actually begin Friday night with a meeting of the chief cooks of the barbecue contest, where the order for judging is determined. Then it's off to the pig parade, a comical sight of Rotarians donning pig noses and weeping for the sacrifice of their comrade for the next day's festival. This takes place at the start of the city's monthly Music in the Streets, a Friday night event.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jim.
Hey, what's happening?
Yeah, we're feeling good about it. We've had a good time. The weather's been perfect.
Yes.
We got to hang out with a lot of good guys all night and got to know them, so it
That's
was
the fun
fun.
part.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
Okay.
Win or lose, it was
I'm
fun.
glad you guys could make it.
Yes,
Be
sir.
part of this.
Yes, sir. Enjoying it.
This is a traditionally cooked whole hog, cooked over either hardwood or charcoal.
Okay, how's that differ from in terms of judging on the gas from the gas?
Typically, when you're cooking over hardwood and charcoal, you're going to have a darker color. It's not going to be that golden color. It's going to be the smoke itself renders the pig much darker. And of course, you get that you get a smoke ring. A lot of times, the pink that you see in here is not that it's undercooked; it's the smoke ring. The pig taking on the characteristics of the smoke, and of course, the smoke flavor is very prominent as well. And you're not going to be able to crisp up the skin like you can with gas, because with a gas cooker, you can run up the temperature late in the cooking process to crisp up the skin. So it's a trade-off. The meat actually tastes better, I think, cooked in traditional method, but you just can't get that skin crispness. So you know.
So that's my problem.
Yeah, you can't. It's hard to have the best of both worlds.
Tell us a little bit about the North Carolina Pork Council.
Well, the Pork Council has been around quite a while, and it's really helping all the farmers in North Carolina. They got a very strong organization. It's very well maintained and very well run by Deborah Johnson. It's got a lot of support among all of its members. And it's events like this that really showcase what the farmers do in North Carolina in all aspects of farming.
And the council is, gets behind and helps promote these kinds of whole hog cook-offs.
Oh, absolutely. They are the organization that actually runs the whole hog competition cook-offs. And they have a board that sets the rules that all cookers have to follow in all of the contests. So it's a very well-run organization, very organized, and it runs just very, very smoothly.
Now, how would you advise other Rotarians or Rotary organizations if they wanted to conduct their own pig cooking, say across the country, in other states? What would you recommend they do?
With the respect and the organization that the North Carolina Pork Council has, they would need to get in touch with Miss Ann Edmondson in Raleigh at the North Carolina Pork Council. She is the lead person that actually is in charge of the whole hog competitions, and she can help anyone that would like to get into this, and she will bend over backwards to make sure that it's a success the first time they have one, and she wants to see it continue to grow.
Been up all night cooking this beautiful hog for you. Hopefully we'll do something, but we're here to meet people and have a good time. And we come a long way to do this because we have fun, we enjoy doing it. And if you want some barbecue, a good barbecue cooked the old way, get your butt down here to Little Washington.
Well, y'all have done a fantastic job. It's a good bunch of folks that throw it, that throw the event. Pam does a good job putting it together. You guys do a good job in making sure that it's coordinated well, and we're just proud to be a part of it.
Smoke on the Water is just one of those festivals where everyone's having a good time. Neighbors are conversing, kids are laughing, and people are enjoying great award-winning food. The contestants love our festival. We offer very competitive prize money, big trophies, and the prettiest setting for overnight cooking.
Well, just glad to win it, man, and glad to do it down here. This place is real nice, and they deserve the good weather down here, so I'm glad you got a good turnout, and it's a good place to come do it.
Vendors love to return to our festival because they're usually successful due to the number of people who attend the event, and they like being out on the waterfront as well.
Well, I've been coming for years and years, but just in the last 2 years, it has really doubled. It seems like every year we get more and more business, and it's a pleasure to do it in a hometown, really. And last year I was here, and it doubled from the year before, so I run out of ice cream. And I think this year the same thing's going to happen because there's so many more people out here this year. It's amazing. It's amazing at the crowd. It's just local people. I mean, I get hugs and everything from they're local people. But I know there's got to be a lot of people coming from out of town.
Would you recommend this festival to other vendors who might want to participate next year?
Most definitely. Most definitely. I see it growing every year now.
Our sponsors are dedicated and return year after year due to the tremendous impact that their contribution makes to the community. This past year, we had 3 major sponsors: Potash Corp., Smithfield, and Tut Media Group. Also, we had numerous other sponsors who made this festival possible. We could not do this without their support.
Would you advise a Rotarian, a Rotary organization to take this kind of project on?
Sure, we're going to do that this year. We're making a handbook and you're doing a documentary so we can put it all together and hand it to them on a silver plate and say, hey, take it and run with it and make money for your community too. You can find out more about Smoke on the Water online at www.smokeonthewater.info or by calling 252-944-6136. If you're interested in planning a festival in your area, call us. We'll be happy to share our experience and expertise with any other Rotary group wishing to make an impact in their community.
It's definitely one of the more prominent historical buildings in town. The front part, which is the double doors forward, that was all built in 1910, finished construction around 1913. In the 1920s, movies with sound came out, so did the Model T. You could come here and sit in here all day for a quarter and watch movies in here, A-list ones for a quarter, or you could go to the Rita Theater and watch movies there all day for a nickel. Actually one of the first full-time movie theaters they had in the entire eastern seaboard. For a small town, we've got a lot to offer everyone. We're a very strong arts community, but really the thing that makes Washington home is the people who are here. Everybody here wants to work together and do what we can to make our community the best it possibly can be. I'm Stuart Lannon. I'm the Technical Director and Facility Manager of the Turnage Theater, and I love Little Washington.
Chicken it's like it just lights your soul up. When you bite it, everything in your body start working.
It's a great community place, good chicken, good beans. Breakfast is tremendous.
When I come in and order, all I have to do is nod and she goes to usual. Yep.
Soul food. I mean, we've got some of the best old-fashioned food that there is around.
It's like everybody's grandmother cooked.
That's what you always hear when you ask people in Washington about King Chicken Inn, that the food tastes like their Southern grandmother's cooking.
King Chicken was the first thing on this stretch of highway.
Granville Lily's father, Stansel, opened King Chicken over 60 years ago. And at first, it was a combination service station and laundromat.
A little pop shop, serving hot dogs and hamburgers. And it did so good, he told my brother and myself he was going to close the laundromat. And then he decided to close the brand new service station. Stayed open 24 hours a day. But we had 4 tobacco markets. We had National Spinning. We had Hamilton Beach. We had the shirt factory. We had the garment factory. All those places are gone. But King Chicken, old-fashioned Eastern North Carolina food, has been right here rocking.
We open up at 5:30 every morning but Sunday, and at 5:15 there's cars in the parking lot. You know, people going to work, they're ready to come in, get their biscuit, and go do their thing. So.
But after 30 years, even Granville Lilly started to get tired, so he began looking for a new owner.
I had this friend who just kept telling me, hey, you need to go sit and talk with Mr. Granville. Just go see him. And I did one time, and kind of put it on the back burner for a few months. And he called back again and said, look, it's time. You need to go sit down and talk with him. So I did, and we came and sat down. And then once that happened, I just knew he was the guy I wanted to be associated with.
I looked at his smile and talked to him and saw how good-natured he was.
We thought he would be good for King Chicken, and King Chicken would be good for him.
It was about this time last year, he said, man, I need you to pray for me. And I said, yeah, what's going on? He goes, I'm getting ready to do something. He goes, that it's just kind of out of my element, but I'm getting ready to take a new job. And I was like, really, what is it? He goes, well, that's the bad thing. He goes, I'm asking you to pray for me, but I can't tell you right now.
Couldn't think of a better business here in town to be able to carry on.
You sure you'll go and get something? Come on back here.
There's another thing about King Chicken that's almost as famous as the food, and it's the checkers action out front.
They started on a car hood. That's where they first started playing checkers at, and those guys stay around all the time. They really look after King Chicken.
And they've been doing that probably 40 years or 45 years.
This checkerboard was made, and if you can see these signs up here, John 3:16. That's the Bible verse.
It's painted with Bible verses and hand painted the whole thing, and it stays there 24/7.
We come every Friday after we swim, and we eat collards.
We'll probably sell about, I'll say about 25 or 30 bushels today.
Collard man brings them in. We'll sit down and pick and wash them, and then we'll put them in the cooler. And then on Fridays, we'll line the stove up and just put them on and cook them. Take them up, chop them, and we ready.
My birthmark is a collard.
In the morning time, they love the cheese biscuits, but they eat chicken from the time we open to the time we close. So it's the biscuits, it's the chicken, it's the wonderful attitudes of the girls.
So I have customers tell me every day, don't change a thing, and keep doing what you're doing, because we want King Chicken to be here for many more generations.
You can find King Chicken at 601 Carolina Avenue in Washington, and they're open every day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. For more information, give them a call at 252-946-4594 or go online to thekingchicken.com.
This is Rachel Case Bakery, and we bought this building last summer. It's been vacant since 1982. It was built in 1884, and it was the original town hall, a fire station. So we have grown from, just me and my mom in our home kitchen to we have a staff of, I think, 13 right now. We do hearth breads and pastries and cinnamon rolls and coffee from Counterculture Coffee in Durham. And so, yeah, it's just becoming a place for people to gather and get really good food that's not available otherwise. I am really becoming passionate about some of the breads that we make. I think it's something that's really difficult to get around here, but I also have a bit of a sweet tooth, and we've just kind of expanded into doing Napoleons. So we make the pastry cream from scratch, and we do the puff pastry from scratch, and so that's quickly becoming my favorite thing. I'm Rachel Midget, and I own Rachel Case Bakery in Washington, North Carolina, and I love living here.
I thought the change of pace from the highways of the Beltway of DC, this would be so much nicer. So I remember coming downtown and thinking, I would love to have a business downtown sometime. My friend Jenny, she ended up being presented the opportunity to do this Little Shops concept. And so we got this building, we rented the building and made the divider and had the boutique on one side and then this 30 little individual shops on the other side.
And we have all sorts of interesting items, one-of-a-kind items, difficult to find items. And we like to think that you can come in here and there is nothing we can't provide for you.
And we opened another store in New Bern, and that's where I met, or got to know Rebecca, my business partner. We worked really well together, and we said, let's do this. So we did it, and our friend Pat moved in the other side with the South Market Antiques. So that's the long version. So I got to do my business, and we love it. We just love it.
It's definitely one of the more prominent historical buildings in town. The front part, which is the double doors forward, that was all built in 1910, finished construction around 1913. In the 1920s, movies with sound came out, so did the Model T. You could come here and sit in here all day for a quarter and watch movies in here, A-list ones for a quarter, or you could go to the Rita Theater and watch movies there all day for a nickel. Actually, one of the first full-time movie theaters they had in the entire eastern seaboard. For a small town, we've got a lot to offer everyone. We're a very strong arts community, but really the thing that makes Washington home is the people who are here. Everybody here wants to work together and do what we can to make our community the best it possibly can be. I'm Stuart Lannon. I'm the technical director and facility manager of the Turnage Theater, and I love Little Washington.
Born and raised here, my dad and I came back when I got in my late 20s, and he retired and we decided to open up this restaurant. It's the coolest place ever, and it all kind of magically happened. It genuinely was just kind of magical how it all played out. It was a very easy process getting this going. It really was. My particular favorite thing is our goat cheese pecan cranberry salad. Customers, the salmon, the beekeeper salmon, local honey, pecans, encrusted. It's amazing, and everyone loves it. And our carrots are killer. We have carrots that basically taste like candy, so everybody thinks they're eating candy, but it's actually healthy. So.
What do you love about Little Washington?
Well, the major is the river. Everybody says that it's the river. But the people, the knowing people, the roots I have here. But the green, it's so green here and pretty. And in the spring and summer, it's just you don't realize it until you get away from here. Just how beautiful this place is. It's truly beautiful. It is. It's a perfect little small town. It is.
So we started Blend close to 4 years ago. We wanted a place for locals and people from out of town to have great clothes and get first-rate customer service. I love making people feel good. I love putting them in something they're comfortable in, but I love people. I love meeting new people. It's my thing. Little Washington has the best people ever meet, and I know that you see that or hear that from other places, but this is truly the best part about this town.
So we had a situation that we ended up together unexpectedly with another place closing, and we'd always been together for a long time, even before that. So we thought, well, that's kind of a lemon situation. Let's make lemonade, and that's how we got the name. There are 15 artists who display out here in the gallery, and then 5 of us have working studios in the back. And that's where we get messy and create what you see out here. I make silk. It starts out white, and I design what I'm going to do with it, get the dye on it. It's all hand washable. When I'm done, I do the stitching. It's really fine stitching. And I also make anodized aluminum jewelry because, as you can see, I like color.
Yes.
So, and this is how I get color with silk and color with jewelry. So
That's fantastic.
that's my piece of it.
I make jewelry, and it's made with 14 karat gold filled wire and sterling silver wire. Right now I'm working on some ear vines. I got 7 orders yesterday from people that came in, and they want them in sterling silver. And we just keep getting great feedback. The community has been wonderful. I moved here 10 years ago from Long Island, and it has been wonderful. People are friendly, they're welcoming, and I just absolutely love it here.
I paint a lot of memories for people. I love to paint grandchildren. I paint grandchildren, anything fun. I think I like 3 states having portraits in every state. I've sent them to the country of Jordan and Norway, and got some cards in China. I love Washington. We meet people from all over the world here.
I absolutely love Little Washington. It's a wonderful place to live.
This is one area where I really feel the happiness with being here, and couples just seem to be very happy here. It's a great place to live.
We're Southern food with a little Cajun twist. We have 12 burgers, right?
12, yes.
He thought we had 6. We have 12 burgers.
She busts me on that every time.
We have a large selection of craft beer, and we carry North Carolina rum, gin.
Try and carry as much North Carolina beers, alcohols, wines as we possibly can. We get a lot of ECU people in here watching the games, which is fun because they're excited, about...
Tar Heels too.
We get a couple of Tar Heels. Since I went to Carolina, we get a couple. We're the first restaurant to open every day and the last one to close every day. We're open every day of the week. So if people come downtown, there's always going to be a place they can stop and eat, come just drink a beer, meet a friend, or whatever.
And we want everybody to have a good time and not be so uptight. It's a fun place.
I grew up in the business. My grandfather had an antique shop. Well, my favorite thing's primitives, and I also like mid-century modern, which the younger girls are starting to really embrace the 50s and 60s. When I started, I think there were maybe 2 other shops, or 3, and now we've had 2 or 3 more join, and 6 or 7 shops. They'll come spend a day, have lunch, and shop with everybody. I grew up in Beaufort County, but I lived on the south side of the river once I was married for about 30 years, and when I moved back, started my business, and we have such a good time. Just hanging out with our friends and on the waterfront, sailing on the Jenny Bee, hanging out on the back patios of some of the restaurants. Hi, I'm Pat Lewis. I own South Market Antiques. I love Little Washington.
We started out as a plain art gallery. It's just going to be 2 lines of paintings around. Well, that doesn't work in Washington. We had to have more to sell than that. This is a co-op gallery, so we all are members of the gallery. We have paintings, we have photography, we have stained glass. Now we have woodwork, we have painted furniture. We don't really do it for money. We do it for love. it's amazing because those people from out of town often come and really look hard at what you've got. And that's nice because that's really what we're here for, is for people to see it and enjoy it.
We are Wine and Words and Gourmet. We started out as Wine and Words, which is wine and books. And then we added specialty foods. That's the gourmet part. We have wines from all over the world, beers, local North Carolina beers, and from around the world. Every Friday afternoon we have wine tastings so that people come in and we taste wine. I tell them about wine and gives them a chance to discover new best friends in the wine world. We always get, almost every weekend, new people discover Washington. We're kind of a fixture on Main Street, and people, that's how people discover us. They come walking down Main Street and see that there's Wine and Words and Gourmet and come in and try us out. People are always asking me about what's my favorite, but we have over 300 wines here, and that's like, which is your favorite child? You know, I like wine a lot, and my wife, who is the co-owner of the store, she mostly does the food part. I mostly like wines from Spain, kind of a specialty of ours, and people enjoy being turned on to new things in Washington. One of the things we do is we keep a record of customer purchases. So people will come in, say at Christmas time, and say, do you know what kind of wine so-and-so likes? And I look it up and I say, absolutely. And then they get a really nice Christmas gift because I know what they like. People come in often and say, I really don't know anything about wine, and I always say, then you've come to the right place, because you don't have to be a wine geek here. This is a place where you can, if you enjoy good things in life, then we can help you with that.
We love book readers, so we wanted to try and do something with the local community, and we are 99% web-based, so we wanted to kind of see what we could do around here that would be a good fit. It's anytime a book sells in here, we instantly replace it, so theoretically the inventory will always differ, and we also have 250,000 books in the back, so if somebody's looking for a specific title, they come up to us, and we look and see what we have in our catalog, and we call for it. Community is really supportive. We love, having people visit us. We love the tourism. We just really enjoy being a big part of the community.
We come into town and I see this humongous body of water. And I remember thinking in my mind, that is a needle in a haystack.
What was part of my journey here was the inspiration from great old places. My desire, after being unveiled to what really caused great places to be great, was to find a place to go to work on one of those neighborhoods.
To find this jewel at such a sweet town has been pretty special. That's what I've been very excited about. So I've spent most of my professional career trying to create homes that have the feel of an old house, the proper proportion, balance, scale, windows aligning, but modern interiors and modern floor plans.
In addition to directly in a historic district, directly by the downtown, and then right on the waterfront, it's a new home. I mean, you think about the fact that you're living in a brand new home.
So if you can get everything, reaction, place, other things of an old house, but have it in something brand new that's modern and energy efficient and laid out just the way you want, wow.
And the location is unique too. To be able to be on the water, in a park, in the downtown, in the historic district, and not just be a 5-minute or 10-minute loop around the neighborhood, that's not something that you would experience in really any other small town. One of the things that you would appreciate as a community is you have this charming and quaint downtown, but you also have all of the modern conveniences. And you see the great shops, so you see restaurants, you see the arts district, and a vibrant artisan community.
We've had the pleasure of meeting all of the store owners and just their excitement over the city of Washington and what is going on.
Little Washington has the best people ever meet. And I know that you see that or hear that from other places, but it's truly the best part about this town.
The people in this town are genuinely very friendly, nice people.
Very quaint, and it's a great place to live.
It is the best place to live in the United States.
And I just absolutely love it here.
The people are what make this town.
One of the things that you would quickly notice when you come into town is the amount of activity in the community.
Our kids grew up kayaking, water skiing, fishing. Before they could drive, they would get on a boat and come downtown to get ice cream. You always feel like somebody's watching and looking after your children, and it's an easy lifestyle.
We've got this convergence of all of these different factors, and if you just remove one of those, you may be describing another place, but you're not describing this place.
Hi, I'm Justin. Welcome to Moss Landing. One of the things that makes Moss Landing such a special project is its location. Located in the heart of Little Washington, immediately adjacent to the historic district, nestled on the tranquil banks of the beautiful Pamlico River, this new home community is quite the charm. Here we are inside our first featured home, 303 Water Street, the Pamlico, a tribute to the river on which the home was built. This home is not the only plan that we have. We have actually 5 available floor plans. Those 5 floor plans include a variety of different features, benefits, masters up, masters down. Some are larger, some are smaller. This particular home is one of my favorites, a cottage, charming home, quaint. Sitting curbside when you pull up, it feels comfortable, cozy, like something you want to walk into. The beauty of these homes is that all the common living areas all interact with one another in a seamless fashion, where the homes live front to back with great front porches and incredible rear porches. You'll probably struggle with knowing where to spend your time. The interiors are beautiful, but the exterior, especially on a cool evening with a southern breeze, you're going to want to be outside. All of the homes face due south, so the sun rises on the far end of the project and sets on the other end. So you'll be able to sit in the comfort of your rear porch and enjoy watching either a sunrise or a sunset, or perhaps both. We've attempted to make great use of windows in the space, not only to allow in that natural light, but to provide you with incredible water views. Don't worry, all the windows are low E, so they're energy efficient. The homes are appointed just right, with great attention to detail, with everything from trim to granite countertops to site finish wood floors. The homes are finished in a fashion that make them eminently livable. Masterfully designed, perfect for your lifestyle. The beauty of the homes is not only that they're designed with great custom finishes on the exterior and on the interior, but they live incredibly well, front to back. At Beacon Street, it's our deep desire and our greatest joy to work with you, to help you walk into a dream that perhaps you've been dreaming for some time. This may be a second home, or it may be a place that you are choosing to retire to. It would be our great joy to walk you into that future.
When you think of the performing arts in North Carolina, Washington might not be the first place that comes to mind. But producer Clay Johnson shows us how a historic theater in Washington's downtown has become a hub for all kinds of art and bringing new life to this Beaufort County community.
I remember Doris Day movies. We called it the picture show, you know, we didn't call it the movies.
Betty Bonner Bradshaw can't remember the first time she came to the picture show at Washington's Turnage Theater.
I don't remember when I didn't come, how about that?
All through grade school and high school.
Well, we would all get popcorn, we'd prop our knees on the back of the seat and you'd scrunch way down, and I don't know, we just had a good time, we really did.
Thanks to Cat Turnage, for whom the theater is named. In the early 1900s, Turnage built a 3-story retail space downtown and turned the second floor into a vaudeville theater.
And the likes of Roy Rogers and brought his horse Trigger with him, Red Skelton, Mutt and Jeff, all played here because vaudeville theater happened where there were railroad tracks and water, of which Washington has both.
Open windows were the theater's air conditioning, but in 1930, when the noise of automobiles became too much, Turnage built another theater on the back of the building. That became today's Turnage Theater. It hosted live performances and movies until it closed in the 1970s. Over the years, the theater deteriorated and faced possible demolition.
A group in 1996 decided to pull it out of the mothballs and try again, and formed what was then called the Turnage Foundation.
For about the next 15 years, there were millions spent on renovations and failed attempts to reopen and operate the theater. In 2013, the Beaufort County Arts Council, now called Arts of the Pamlico, bought the theater at auction. Now, under new management, the theater is thriving, its bright marquee once again lighting up and livening up Washington's Main Street.
The Turnage Theater is really a community gem.
You said you were in my homeroom. Sorry about the fabrication there, Dickie boy.
The Turnage Stage is once again hosting live performances. The Arts of the Pamlico Community Theater puts on 4 productions a year.
The atmosphere is amazing. I mean, I've done productions before in high school auditoriums and that sort of thing, but it makes a huge difference to get on a real stage in a real theater.
Trust me now. And there are concerts on the main stage too, offering a diverse range of music from folk to funk and blues to bluegrass. The theater is also showing movies and documentaries, both evening shows and afternoon matinees.
Every word's a symphony.
You'll often find music in the theater's Art Cafe, which doubles as an art gallery and gift shop. The main gallery hosts special events, exhibits, and lots of art activities for children. Arts of the Pamlico hopes to one day host a School of the Arts for children and adults at the theater. For area residents and out-of-town visitors, the theater's downtown location, a block from the waterfront, makes it a destination.
So people can come into town and walk on the boardwalk, visit the galleries here, including the small gift shop that we have here, and then come to a restaurant and have dinner or lunch and come over to the theater to enjoy an art exhibit in the gallery or sit in our art cafe and sip wine. We're coming to the theater for a movie on a hot afternoon or a cold day and just enjoy themselves for a day.
Torrance hopes to raise money to keep expanding the theater's arts programs, and she hopes to one day find the funds to restore the old vaudeville theater upstairs. Meantime, patrons like Betty Bonner Bradshaw are just glad their beloved Turnage Theater has been brought back to life again.
I think it's fabulous. I am thrilled. I really am.
The Turnage Theater is located at 150 West Main Street in Washington, North Carolina. It's open Tuesday through Friday from 10 to 5, Saturday from 11 to 4, Sunday from noon to 4, and in the evenings for special events. For more information, call 252-946-2504 or visit artsofthepamlico.org.
When I came here, I saw this really funky little place, but it was on the water. And we said, you know, that really needs to be something like where we came from in Florida. For us, when we're on our boat here, it's so lovely. There wasn't any place you could actually go to casual, no shoes, in your bathing suit, and get a hamburger. And that's what we decided to do. And so we learned how to do things, and the customers told us what they wanted, because a lot of times we didn't know what we were doing. We didn't realize, you know, how much seafood people wanted to eat around here. And we don't say that we're a seafood restaurant, but we probably sell twice as much seafood as we do burgers. We sell an awful lot of shrimp and oysters. We get our oysters from Mac Jones, who is terrific. He's right down the street. The Alamorada fish sandwich was a sandwich I used to have with my brother down in the Keys. It's a fried fish sandwich with grilled onions and cheese, and it reminds me of what I used to do with my brother. We would go to this fish house in Alamorada and buy that sandwich, and we would go out and look at the sunsets. And believe it or not, the sunsets are as beautiful here as they are in the Keys. Yes, we are a bar, but we're more a restaurant that happens to have beer and alcohol. The kids are out here playing ring toss and running around and going out on the railroad tracks and throwing rocks, and the parents can actually have a really enjoyable time. And it doesn't have to cost them more than the price of a hamburger. If they want to split a hamburger and sit out here and listen to music all night long, it's a relatively inexpensive way for a family to be able to have a nice night out. And we get our customers several times a week. You know, not just on special occasions, but when people have special occasions, they do come here. There's nothing like the Pamlico River. It's beautiful. The sunsets are amazing, but on a beautiful morning where there's no wind, it's like glass. It's like a mirror out there. So yeah, you have the same river, but it really changes every day. I am Laura Scoble, and I moved here from Florida about 13 years ago, and I want to extend an invitation to any of you who see this to come and visit Washington and possibly set down roots here. It's probably the best decision you will ever make.
When they bought this building, Laura literally said to me, you know, Leanne, you see that building over there? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, what would you do if you could do anything you wanted with it? And I was like, well, I'd open a kayak shop. Who wouldn't? And she's like, well, we bought it. And if you want to do something with it, it's all yours. And 10 months later, I was here. When I opened it, was selling bikes, working on bikes, renting kayaks and selling kayaks, and then all the accessories in between. And it's always been that. And then we add little things here and there. We try stuff like paddleboards. We've tried them and they're a hit, you know. But we've also tried things like when we first opened Segways, not a hit. We get a lot of people that are excited to be outside, a lot of people that are nervous, but they want to try something new. People who live in town, people who live in Raleigh, people who are just visiting from, you know, a whole nother state. We have full moon paddles, we have sunset paddles. One of our biggest hits is the wine and cheese paddles, where we take people up to Castle Island and set up a whole spread for them, and people love it. I mean, we get people come from all over for that. Any kind of cycling, very user-friendly here. I love it. I mean, I rode this morning in the rain, you know, and you know what? It was great. So it's just good, you know, and it's flat. I love cycling. I love that I get to do that, you know, almost every day, and I love that I get to go kayaking this afternoon with somebody. And it's right here. I just roll down to the water, roll out on my bike. It's all good. Everything you do here, you end up meeting somebody you don't know. You end up, you know, experiencing something you haven't experienced. I've met some really awesome people through the shop and become friends with a lot of them too. So that's probably my favorite part. You know, people come in and they're like, you know, everybody's so friendly here, and people truly are. I mean, it's a small town that people love living in. So why wouldn't we want to share our experience with everybody else? My name is Leanne Harch. I own Inner Banks Outfitters. Come out and play with us sometime.
My grandmother, she actually owned a bed and breakfast years ago, and I've always had an interest in antiques. And so one day I just strolled down to the downtown area and I told my parents and my sister that I'm going to find a place and see what I can do and just go with my passion and my dream. And sure enough, it came true. On December 2012, we decided to go with it and see what we could accomplish by bringing furniture and painting it and just bringing a different spin into the downtown area. We find that it's just neat to see what we can do for others, as well as bringing in our reclaimed items. Our jewelry, some is local, it's handmade. We have local soaps that are handmade as well. So we try to find a lot of things that are handmade that customers find unique when it comes to purchasing gifts. We have a place on the water, it's inherited, and we always called it the cottage. So with the combination of being on the water and the downtown area being on the water as well, we thought that Cottage Junkies kind of flowed. And then of course people would ask, well, why do you have a monkey on a bike? And so it was just really random. We found a sock monkey while we were up in the mountains, and so it just kind of worked. And so we call our monkey CJ. So when we're going down the road and we have our enclosed trailer and it's got our logo with the monkey on the bike, people think that we're probably going to a circus. We really enjoy our area. We find that we have a lot of tourists that come through, and we love meeting different people and seeing what brings them in. Why are you buying this item? And it's just fun to hear the stories of where it's going to. We really look forward to, you know, meeting the customer one-on-one and just getting that great interaction with them. I think it's real neat. It's a great bond, I guess you could say. And we have a lot of repeat customers come in too. I'm just such a go-getter. I'm always after, like, what's the next big thing, or what can we do, or how much can we pack in this small space, because it is a small shop and we love to see what we can do with this space. I'm Landis Pinkham, owner of Cottage Junkies. We would love for you to come and shop downtown, and we look forward to seeing you.
Well, the mission for the estuarium and the Partnership for the Sounds as a whole is to encourage ecotourism and the knowledge of the Pamlico and Albemarle Sound region. And it's a way to promote not only, you know, the natural beauty and the bioregion, but also to promote the people and the culture that are so rich in the area. I love teaching. I love my job, you know, being able to talk about how special this area is, again, not only for the beauty, but what we have to offer. We're so experience-oriented. Like, not only do you get to see the frogs and toads, you get to hear them, or, you know, you get to actually see the blue crabs eating, or, you know, experience how a fish moves and the locomotion of that. And so it sort of changes the game for the, you know, the younger kids and even for the older people who are coming in. On top of the actual tour, one of our most popular things is the river roving tours. And those are free boat rides on the Pamlico. And so not only, again, we talk about the history of the town, being founded in Washington and a great port, seaport and shipbuilding area. We also talk about some of the ecology north of the town. Typically we head upriver. It's probably one of the only river tours where you get to be in 2 rivers in the length of 30 minutes. So you get to go from the Pamlico all the way up to the Tar River back here. And then from there we go up into a place called Bear Creek, where you're able to see where the river narrows and some of the cypress and the wildlife out there. My name is Russ Chesson. I'm the educational director at the North Carolina Estuarium. I'd like to invite everyone to come out and experience our estuary.
Can I use my hands? Because I have to use my hands to tell you about it, okay? Mr. White and Toller, a local artist, was asked to do something for the estuarium when we opened in 1998. Well, he came up with the rain cycle, which is what an estuarium is all about, is water. It's where the rivers meet the sea, where the fresh water and salt water comes together to form an estuary. Our estuary is right out here, and we're the second largest in the United States. Chesapeake Bay, Virginia is #1. So, our fresh water comes above the bridge, which is Tar River, flows down in this part of our Pamlico River, and that is why we have an estuary and brackish water, which is half fresh and half salt. Our salt water comes with the wind tides from the sound and the ocean and goes back out. So when that raindrop comes in, it comes up through our air evaporation system, but you know the sun is on my left, and that is what shines down on the rivers, rocks, lakes, and streams and brings the vapor in. So when the raindrop goes, he's got 365 copper wires to represent a day of the year. So that tells you it recycles itself over and over and over. So when the raindrop goes up, the vapor goes around the perimeter of the sun. You can see the little track, and it goes back into the clouds of the mountains of North Carolina. Turns in condensation, back into rain. That rain comes down the mountain, comes around the Piedmont area of our state, and then it is back under the Pamlico and Tar Rivers. It's all the critters in the water. We have everything from this, that, and the other in the water. And mostly we have is no alligators. We have plenty of fish, lemon, all those things. And it goes through our estuary, goes through marshlands, and it heads for the sound and our brackish water. And these little ways back of me, it's called the ocean. That drop of rain goes into the ocean for recycling. We always have water, no matter what. Then over to my left is the lunar system, and that is the moon. We got 28 aluminum wires to represent the lunar cycles of the tides. We don't have many lunar cycles, but anyway, we say that, okay. So that is his little speech about the estuary.
That's perfect.
Wonderful.
That was awesome. That was great.
We've always talked about having a second or third restaurant, and this was actually our first idea, but we went with Grub Brothers, and that's our baby, and we love Grub Brothers, but this is more Roger's speed. He's very
I started out in the fine dining when I started out in the restaurant business in the early 80s.
We like to eat good food, and we're excited about the new menu coming.
We're trying to get new sources for the freshest everything. And we're trying to get produce the same way, seafood, everything as local as we can get it, as fresh as we can get it. Bringing some game birds, some venison, some bison, maybe even some ostrich or emu, something like that. That's a little exotic that most people won't ever get a chance to try unless they come in a place like this. I think if you are accustomed to fine dining, you can tell when you've gotten something that's really fresh and they've started with fresh ingredients.
I do appreciate the people that come in and dine with us at our restaurants, and so I do like to do wine tastings, beer tastings, but we will always have some type of an event going on here.
I like seeing all the different people all the time and talking to them, and everybody has an interesting story, and you get to know your repeat customers. You know, they become your friends more than your customers, which is good, you know.
We want everybody to walk into the bank and feel like they're walking into someone's living room, a friend, sit down and have dinner.
Well, we like to welcome everybody, and we like to see new faces in town. We like new people to move here, buy houses, become part of the community, and we love to be the people that greet them.
The Jenny was designed by a designer named Merritt Walters, and actually was used as a sail training vessel up in the Great Lakes originally. She's been as far north as New England, as far out as Bermuda, been through the Panama Canal a couple of times, and been as far south and west as the Galapagos Islands, 500 miles off of Ecuador in the Pacific Ocean. So she has quite a background. She was brought to eastern North Carolina about 10 years ago and has been sailing, doing sail training and excursions primarily, originally in the New Bern area, and 4 years ago she was brought up to Washington, and we've been sailing out of here for the last 4 years. It's a 72-foot gaff rig schooner. A schooner means that it has two masts, and the one in the back is taller than the one in the front. We don't carry passengers. We do excursions, but the people who come out on the boat help us to hoist sails and trim sails and steer the boat, and we like to get them the sailing experience of sailing on a traditional tall ship. We're doing typically afternoon and sunset sails that are about 3 hours in duration, that are visitors to Washington that want to get a chance to have a sailing adventure. Captain Rick Brass of the schooner Jenny B. We do a variety of cruises and charters and sailing adventures out of Sea Dock at the Washington Waterfront Docks in Washington, North Carolina.
Hi, I'm Justin. Welcome to Moss Landing. One of the things that makes Moss Landing such a special project is its location. Located in the heart of Little Washington, immediately adjacent to the historic district, nestled on the tranquil banks of the beautiful Pamlico River, this new home community is quite the charm. Here we are inside our first featured home, 303 Water Street, the Pamlico, a tribute to the river on which the home was built. This home is not the only plan that we have. We have actually 5 available floor plans. Those 5 floor plans include variety of different features, benefits, masters up, masters down. Some are larger, some are smaller. This particular home is one of my favorites, a cottage, charming home, quaint. Sitting curbside when you pull up, it feels comfortable, cozy, like something you want to walk into. The beauty of these homes is that all the common living areas all interact with one another in a seamless fashion, where the homes live front to back with great front porches and incredible rear porches. You'll probably struggle with knowing where to spend your time. The interiors are beautiful, but the exterior, especially on a cool evening with a southern breeze, you're going to want to be outside. All of the homes face due south, so the sun rises on the far end of the project and sets on the other end. So you'll be able to sit in the comfort of your rear porch and enjoy watching either a sunrise or a sunset, or perhaps both. We've attempted to make great use of windows in the space, not only to allow in that natural light, but to provide you with incredible water views. Don't worry, all the windows are low E, so they're energy efficient. The homes are appointed just right, with great attention to detail, with everything from trim to granite countertops to site finish wood floors. The homes are finished in a fashion that make them eminently livable. Masterfully designed, perfect for your lifestyle. The beauty of the homes is not only that they're designed with great custom finishes on the exterior and on the interior, but they live incredibly well front to back. At Beacon Street, it's our deep desire and our greatest joy to work with you, to help you walk into a dream that perhaps you've been dreaming for some time. This may be a second home, or it may be a place that you are choosing to retire to. It would be our great joy to walk you into that future.
The Turnage Theater in downtown Washington, North Carolina. Construction of the building began in 1910 and ended in 1913. Upstairs is an old vaudeville stage. On the ground floor is a palace-style theater used mainly for movies and live performances. Now home to Arts of the Pamlico, an arts council serving 3 counties, the Turnage once played host to some of the biggest entertainers of the early 20th century, including, it's been said, cowboy singer Roy Rogers and bandleader Cab Calloway. The vaudeville theater closed when talking pictures began to dominate. The palace space was used to show talkies. The theater was shuttered in the early 1980s. Restoration of the building began in the late 1990s, and the Turnage was reopened in 2007. Even before it reopened, the theater sparked ghost stories. Some people who volunteered during the restoration said they felt a ghostly presence. After 2007, many people, including theater staff, visiting artists, and cleaning crews, reported vague feelings of being watched by some unseen thing. Some said they heard odd noises in the theater late at night, especially upstairs in the old vaudeville space. In 2011, a ghost hunting crew toured the Turnage. After the tour, the group's leaders indicated a ghost or ghosts had tried to make contact there. Then, not too long ago, a current staff member had a haunting experience of his own. Have you ever encountered anything supernatural in this building?
Yes, I've actually had two different moments that happened here in the building. One, while powering off the lights at the end of the night, I actually saw a ghost inside the old vaudeville theater upstairs. The second time, I was about 3 feet away from a door leading up to the vaudeville theater, and the door was wide open. And then as I got 3 feet away, about 2-3 feet away from it, it just slammed shut in my face. So I took that as a hint and turned around and left.
What did the ghost look like?
To be honest, I didn't get a great look, but it just looked like up in the vaudeville theater, it looked like a man just leaning over the balcony looking down at me as I powered off the lights for the marquee up there where the switch is. So then I hightailed it out of there. Up until that point, I never really believed in ghosts, so that was definitely a shocking experience, to say the least.
In October 2014, Haunted Pamlico's director S. Kruger witnessed a strange occurrence in the vaudeville theater. Overnight, when the theater was supposed to be empty, someone or something moved some marquee letters stored upstairs. The next morning, the letters, all letter V's, were side by side in a film of dust. The letters had been disturbed, but the dust hadn't.
I've heard of people that have had odd feelings or felt like somebody's brushed past them or that kind of thing. I think it kind of adds to not our mystique, that's not the right word, but adds to, what we're all about. We are a historic building. We've been around a long time. It was a vaudeville theater, so you can only imagine there's been some pretty outstanding personalities pass through here, to put it mildly.
Entering the turnage, especially the vaudeville theater, gives a sense of the more than 100 years of history stored in the walls. But perhaps there is more than history in residence here.
I don't know of anybody who's seen the ghost, but there have been times where people who claim to have, a natural ability for that kind of thing have gone up in that space and have just been absolutely terrified, almost even to the point where they're shaking by the time they get downstairs from the vaudeville theater. And even had someone say that as they were going down the stairs leaving the vaudeville theater after taking some pictures up there, felt they were about to be pushed down the stairs as they were going backwards, like someone was trying to force them down the stairs.
Personally, I have been up in the vaudeville theater late at night and have stood there in the dark and said, "Will you show yourself to me, please?" But nothing. I get nothing. I don't think I am a conduit for that sixth sense. And I believe some people are, but not me.
Though the vaudeville stage is the focus of most of the theater's ghost stories, some people say they get an odd sensation when entering the ground floor auditorium. Do spirits roam the entire building?
When I hear these stories, I kind of just smile and think, oh gosh, that adds to our lore a little bit. But it's not something I think about a whole lot.
But it's not bad for the theater.
Oh, it's not bad for the theater at all. I kind of enjoy, like I said, it kind of adds to a little bit of our history, and it's just another layer for people to think about and be interested in.
But there's been people who've said they've heard footsteps upstairs when they're downstairs. They say they can hear somebody walking around in the upstairs area, up in the vaudeville theater when there's no one up there. So You could definitely say there's a lot of weird sounds in this building, especially at night, and right as it's getting dark, things get very, very creepy in here.
Our crew didn't see or hear a ghost during our recent tour of the Turnage. That doesn't mean a ghost isn't there. We'll certainly keep looking. Who knows? Maybe the ghost of the Turnage will step out of the shadows and take a bow.
North Carolina is blessed with a lot of great seafood restaurants, but at a time when 90% of the seafood Americans consume is imported, even at our own coast, it can be hard to make sure that you're ordering the local catch unless you take the time to ask. But not at a little joint called the Washington Crab and Seafood Shack. Bob Garner has more in tonight's House Special.
What makes Washington Crab and Seafood Shack more than simply a beachy, authentic, and appetizing-looking little place, and the reason locals tend to recommend it for the freshest seafood, is the fact that the restaurant owners also just happen to operate a nearby fish house and fresh fish market, providing a direct path from the water to customers' plates.
Having a retail wholesale processing facility, which we do all our processing here and take it right to the restaurant to be cooked and put on your plate the same day. That's I think a huge advantage to what we try to do.
For example, if you crave a nice fresh oyster burger, wouldn't you choose a place that has just shucked the fresh oysters and sent them over to the kitchen? And by the way, you can order your oysters fried light, medium, or well done for your sandwich. And I recommend you go with medium for the perfect match between juicy and crispy.
Now, people put all sorts of things on these sandwiches. They put lettuce, tomato, cheese, even salsa. But I think what you really need is just some slaw, maybe a little tartar sauce.
Fresh steamed oysters? The Shack is the right place for those as well. Or let's say you love crab cakes, naturally with the freshest crab meat.
We have crabbers that fish the Pamlico River and Pamlico Sound that bring us crabs daily. And as those crabs come in, we are able to cook them, process them, and I have ladies that come in and pick that meat fresh on a daily basis.
For every type of the freshest caught seasonal fish, it's a short, straight shot from the fish house to the Shack.
I am so glad that fish tacos are becoming so popular in North Carolina. This one's made with nice crispy catfish. There's cheese, lettuce, pico de gallo sauce on there, little sour cream on top. Oh yeah. And the great thing about the tacos, you can use grilled fish, you can use broiled fish, you can use fried fish for that nice crispy texture. It just works all the way around. It is not all about fried seafood here. Look at that beautiful grilled scallop and shrimp plate.
Remember, during the season, those shrimp and scallops came straight from being prepared at the plant to the Shack's kitchen and onto your plate.
Fresh, fresh, fresh.
You can even get a terrific piece of key lime pie among the homemade dessert selections here. Unusual for a place like this.
If you find any that's anywhere near that, you'll be a fortunate person indeed. Wow.
Still, cooking fresh seafood is the key.
We didn't really go into this with the vision of opening a restaurant, but we had so many people walking here into our fresh market buying fish saying, well, where can I get somebody to cook fresh fish for me? We really didn't have any place that we could recommend, so we decided to go for it and do it ourselves, and it's been absolutely wonderful.
For North Carolina Weekend, I'm Bob Garner.
The Washington Crab and Seafood Shack is located on US 264 Business on the east side of the downtown area near Washington High School. The physical address is 1212 John Small Avenue. It's open Monday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and they're closed on Sunday. Give them a call at 252-974-2722. Find them on the web at WashingtonCrabandSeafoodShack.com or look for them on Facebook.
I thought the change of pace from the highways of the Beltway of DC, this would be so much nicer. So I remember coming downtown and thinking, I would love to have a business downtown sometime. My friend Jenny, she ended up being presented the opportunity to do this Little Shops concept. And so we got this building, we rented the building and made the divider and had the boutique on one side and then this 30 little individual shops on the other side.
And we have all sorts of interesting items, one-of-a-kind items, difficult to find items. And we like to think that you can come in here and there is nothing we can't provide for you.
And we opened another store in New Bern, and that's where I met, or got to know Rebecca, my business partner. We worked really well together and we said, let's do this. So we did it, and our friend Pat moved in the other side with the South Market Antiques. So that's the long version. So I got to do my business, and we love it. We just love it.
When I came here, I saw this really funky little place, but it was on the water. And we said, you know, that really needs to be something like where we came from in Florida. For us, when we're on our boat here, it's so lovely. There wasn't any place you could actually go to, casual, no shoes, in your bathing suit, and get a hamburger. And that's what we decided to do. And so we learned how to do things, and the customers told us what they wanted because a lot of times we didn't know what we were doing. We didn't realize, you know, how much seafood people wanted to eat around here. And we don't say that we're a seafood restaurant, but we probably sell twice as much seafood as we do burgers. We sell an awful lot of shrimp and oysters. We get our oysters from Mac Jones, who is terrific. He's right down the street. The Alamorada fish sandwich was a sandwich I used to have with my brother down in the Keys. It's a fried fish sandwich with grilled onions and cheese, and it reminds me of what I used to do with my brother. We would go to this fish house in Alamorada and buy that sandwich, and we would go out and look at the sunsets. And believe it or not, the sunsets are as beautiful here as they are in the Keys. Yes, we are a bar, but we're more a restaurant that happens to have beer and alcohol. The kids are out here playing ring toss and running around and going out on the railroad tracks and throwing rocks, and the parents can actually have a really enjoyable time. And it doesn't have to cost them more than the price of a hamburger. If they want to split a hamburger and sit out here and listen to music all night long, it's a relatively inexpensive way for a family to be able to have a nice night out. And we get our customers several times a week. You know, not just on special occasions, but when people have special occasions, they do come here. There's nothing like the Pamlico River. It's beautiful. The sunsets are amazing. But on a beautiful morning where there's no wind, it's like glass. It's like a mirror out there. So yeah, you have the same river, but it really changes every day. I am Laura Scoble, and I moved here from Florida about 13 years ago, and I want to extend an invitation to any of you who see this to come and visit Washington and possibly set down roots here. It's probably the best decision you will ever make.
Hello everyone, my name is Brad Graham and welcome back to Moss Landing. I wanted to introduce to you today 239 East Water Street. We refer to it as the Magnolia floor plan. The welcoming part of this home starts in the front on Water Street, and it's got a great full front porch, deep, wide, very welcoming. This particular home has 3 nice, spacious, large bedrooms, including a master that has terrific views out over the river. Open, tall ceilings, lots of natural light, and some wonderful